Every day, millions of people step into small metal boxes, press a button, and trust the machinery to deliver them safely to their destination. We treat elevators as fail-proof marvels of modern engineering, but that feeling of absolute security hides a disturbing statistical reality. Every year, hundreds of people disappear from inside highly secure, heavily monitored buildings, leaving absolutely zero physical trace. To understand how this happens, we have to look at a specific timeline. It centers on a standard 40-story financial building in downtown Chicago. A man named Lucas Carter had just started working the night shift there. On his very first night on the job, the building emptied out before midnight, leaving only a few staff members behind to secure the property. As Lucas was heading out, a veteran janitor stopped him near the lobby. The older man smiled nervously and gave him a highly specific warning. If the elevator ever shows floor 41, don't look up. Lucas laughed it off. The building only had 40 floors. But that strange piece of advice frames the central problem of his case. It forces us to ask how a perfectly sealed steel box could become an architectural trap, and how a person could vanish from inside it. 3 weeks passed without a single incident. Then, during a stormy night shift, Lucas stepped into the elevator to head home. The clock read exactly 2:41 a.m. He pressed for the ground floor. The car started down, but abruptly halted. The display counted upwards, 39, 40, settling on 41. The doors opened to darkness. Freezing air drifted in from an unmapped void that completely replaced the expected architecture. Lucas frantically pressed the closed door button, but the machinery refused to respond. Heavy, slow footsteps approached from deep inside the darkness. A tall figure stepped toward the open doors. It had a human build, but its face was entirely blank, smooth skin without eyes or a mouth. The figure stopped right at the threshold and slowly pointed upward. Lucas remembered the janitor's strict instruction, but human curiosity took over. He looked toward the ceiling, only to find hundreds of pale faces hanging upside down in the dark, watching him and smiling. Lucas survived this first breach, but the event redefined his understanding of the space. The elevator had found a pocket of reality that shouldn't exist, and the janitor's warning suggests that in this place, survival depends entirely on following the rules of the house. Shaken, Lucas reported the incident to the security guard downstairs. The guard was terrified, explaining that every few years, someone accidentally reaches the 41st floor. He also shared a chilling detail. No one who visits a second time ever survives. Lucas quit his job the very next morning. For 6 months, he stayed far away from downtown Chicago, maintaining a completely safe distance from the building. Then, a mysterious package arrived at his home. Inside was an old elevator key and a handwritten note with a simple message: "You left something behind." Lucas hadn't left a single item behind, yet the key and the suggestion of a lost possession created a pull he couldn't ignore. The 41st floor didn't need to hunt him in the streets. It waited for the suggestion of unfinished business to draw him back into the shaft. Driven by that compulsion, Lucas returned to the financial building late at night. 6 months after his first encounter, he found the lobby completely empty. Even the security desk was abandoned. An elevator was already sitting open, waiting. He stepped inside, and without him pressing a single button, the doors closed. The car rose steadily, bypassing floor 40 and stopping on 41. This time, the dark void was gone. In its place was an endless, dilapidated hallway lined with dozens of old apartment doors. As Lucas walked down the corridor, he noticed something on the doors. Each one bore a nameplate matching a person reported missing over the last 50 years. At the very end of the hall, he found one final door. The nameplate read, "Lucas Carter." From inside that room, someone knocked 3 times. Then his own voice whispered through the wood, "I'm still in here." Lucas reached out. The moment his hand touched the doorknob, every apartment door in the hallway flew open at once. Thousands of expressionless people stepped into the corridor, raising one hand and pressing invisible elevator buttons in perfect unison. Lucas bolted for the elevator and barely slipped inside as the door sealed shut. Touching his own doorknob was the final trigger. the action that permanently shifted the anomaly from a passive hallucination into an active, inescapable physical prison. When police arrived the next morning, they found the elevator sitting open in the main lobby. It was entirely empty. Forensics found 0 fingerprints, and the building's security cameras had captured absolutely no footage of Lucas entering. There was only one piece of physical evidence left at the scene. Scratched deeply into the glass of the elevator's interior mirror was a single sentence: "There is always room for one more." The message reveals that the 41st floor is a permanent fixture of the building's infrastructure. It is a localized void that waits for a moment of curiosity to override the instinct of self-preservation. It also serves as a final set of instructions. If you ever find yourself in an elevator that bypasses the top floor of a building, do not step into the hallway. Keep your hand off the doorknobs, press the close door button, and never look up.